Rabbeinu Daniel Shalom.
How are you today?
Baruch Hashem. Don't we do this every week at the same hour?
It's true. My car is still not working. She's working on it. Oh no, I'm sorry to hear that, Olson.
Olson is working on his car.
I didn't even see Olson's face until his interview with Chazi. It was so exciting.
He's been on the channel a few times.
I'm not saying he hasn't been. I just haven't. I was never Zocha to see his face.
You're saying you just don't watch my channel. I get it.
That could be the issue. That could be the issue.
I went back and I skimmed through the parts we skipped. Yeah, it was complicated.
It's hard. It's hard. I'm just a simple man, you know? I'm only mortal.
You're a simple man? I don't know if you're a simple man. I'm guessing you just don't want to reveal the Sod HaIbur to the Goyim.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Okay. Where were we?
So we just said kind of a crazy story about Rabbi Yehuda ben Bava during the times of the Romans when they basically banned any kind of rabbinic ordination. Mm-hmm. So they went to the mountain area where they couldn't be found, and Rabbi Yehuda ben Bava ordained, I think it was 3 people, and the Talmud wants to use that as a proof that rabbinic ordination can be done with one person. And where we got up to was, we said, actually there were other people with him, but they're only not mentioned because of Rabbi Yehuda ben Bava's status. So they didn't want to mention the other 2 rabbis. But really, you do need 3. And even though this story only mentions 1, it's just because of respect for Rabbi Yehuda ben Bava. Right. It would be like if me and you ordained someone, you would be mentioned and I would be left out of respect, you know.
Respect for
it's funny, we actually stopped because the Gemara then has one final point. We stopped before this final point. I thought it was the end. It says, Rabbi Meir Yehuda ben Bava samche, but did Rabbi Meir actually get ordained by Rabbi Yehuda ben Bava? V'had Amar Rabbi Bar Chana Amar Rabbi Yochanan Kol Omer Rabbi Meir lo samcho Rabbi Akiva eino elatah. Anyone who says that Rabbi Meir was not ordained by Rabbi Akiva wasn't mistaken. So we see that this whole story is actually false, according to this line. So the Gemara answers, Samche Rabbi Akiva v'lo kiblu. Rabbi Akiva did ordain Rabbi Meir, but it was not accepted. And Samche Yehuda ben Bava kiblu. And then Rabbi Yehuda ordained him, it was accepted. Why would they not accept it? Let's see what Rashi says. Like Rabbi Akiva was like the guy, wasn't he? Like, why would they not accept it? He
was the guy.
V'lo kiblu lefisha dayin hayabacher, because he was still a kid. He was still young.
He hadn't gotten married yet.
Oh, you think it means
marriage? Some people.
What? Do you think it means marriage or it means he was young?
No, it couldn't possibly mean marriage because he didn't go to learn until after he was married.
Ah, okay.
You know the story.
No. Oh, you're saying... Is it talking about
Rabbi Akiva?
Rabbi Akiva or Rabbi Meir?
Maybe you're saying that Rabbi Meir was too young?
Yeah, maybe.
I didn't think of that.
Yeah, it might be. By the way, I found a fascinating, this is a totally random thing, but I've been learning Job lately due to Jess's influence on me. And I found I have a Mikros Gedolos that quotes all like the Mamari Chazal about Job on the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
And I found this obscure Avester of Nussin about when this is like totally off topic. So when Rav Yochanan ben Zakkai's child died, all these rabbis came to be Menachem Avil. And it's a really obscure story, just going through all the different this one starts. They each say a line, and they're all similar. Like one of them says, basically, Eov had all his children were killed, and they all died. So, and he sort of dealt with it and handled it. So you should also be able to, deal with this. And there was like 10 different rabbis or 6 or 7 different rabbis that said the exact same thing. Like, Adam had this issue, Abraham had this issue, and like they all dealt with it. So you should be able to deal with it. And his response to every single one of them was, so now I have to deal with my problem and Job's problem. Like, meaning you're like saying it as like a consolation, but now you made my life worse. And this is a very interesting. I know people talk about like Shiva houses a lot and how to be Menachem Avil and what not to say. You would think this Avos Nasa would be like front and center of people's like brochure on how to greet.
I'm not sure everyone has the same empathy that. Who was it who lost his kids? Was it Rabbi Meir?
Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai lost his son, and all these rabbis came to Menachem Avil, and Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai kept saying to all
right,
these guys,
but when you go to be Menachem Avil, you're not being Menachem Avil, Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai. That's my answer. So Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, you tell him these stories. He has so much empathy, it adds to his Yisurin.
That's what you're saying.
No,
that's not the way to look at it.
That's not the way to look at it?
No, the Gemara is basically telling you, or the Avos Nasa is telling you basic empathy. If someone's suffering from something, just talk about that specific issue. Don't start doing whataboutism, so to speak, and being like, oh, what about Eov? He also went through a lot of crap. Don't do that, And then at the end of the Gemara, Elazar ben Azariah is the final person to come, and he says something different. He basically says to him, listen, your son, he said, let me give you an analogy. He gives like a mashal. He says that if a king gives you a very special like treasure or object
jewel, and then ask for it back, yes.
And then so you'd be nervous. He said you'd be nervous all the time of like, I want to make sure I give it to him in good condition. And he said you watched your son your whole life, and you were, so to speak, giving him back to God in pure, etc. And Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai said back, so each one he responded to it, and Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai said back to him, you know how to console people. It's a very beautiful piece. Very
nice. So we have so many people. Hafez is back.
I don't know Hafez.
I had a little stream with Hafez. He's Persian and he lives in London.
And he has a great beard. That's the main thing.
He has a great beard. And he goes to Speaker's Corner. He's kind of a comedian.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yes. And I'm not sure who Seeking Genuine is, but seems like a nice person.
Amazing.
We have so many great people watching.
Listen, Talmud's the best.
Especially Talmud Sanhedrin.
All right, let's keep going. I'm sorry for my distraction, but that was my tidbit of the day.
No, anytime we're talking about Job, it's funny. I got into a little tiff with Trip over Job today on X.
What happened?
Do I want to pull this up?
Is it interesting?
I thought it was interesting. I don't know if anybody else would think it's interesting.
I'm all Job these days, so I'd love to.
You're all Job?
I've been learning a lot of Job. Yeah, it's a really interesting book.
So I will show you my little tiff with Trip.
I don't know Trip.
You know Trip. You've seen him around. He's one of the old gangsters. Okay. So Constantine, that's Trip. He apparently this is what, when he went into church, this is what he saw. He says Lewis was a prophet, right? And this is the reflection they have in their church. The ancient man approached God, or even the gods, as the accused person approaches his judge. For the modern man, the roles are quite reversed. He is the judge. God is in the dock. He is quite a kindly judge. if God should have a reasonable defense for being the God who permits war, poverty, and disease, he is ready to listen to it. The trial may even end in God's acquittal, but the important thing is that man is on the bench and God is in the dock, right? And I think it's very clear from this thing that he's saying that the ancient man is the good person and the modern man is somehow the bad person, right? But so I responded to Trip. He certainly wasn't the prophet who wrote Job.
Right.
Said, what do you mean? Said the Hebrew Bible has a very long tradition of placing the Almighty in the dock, not least of which was when Abraham did it and asked, will the, actually it was judge, I remember it incorrectly, of the world not do justice? Tripp says, was the point of Job then that Job was right to do so? Did God show up and provide an explanation? Because after all, Job deserves one? And I said, yes. And he says, no, God never provided an explanation. And I got into this whole thing with him, right?
Oh my gosh! What do you write? Wait, what kind of? Okay, what was that? After what explanation was given? Keep going down. The Lord answered God. The verb is vayan. Feel free to look it up in the corners. You simply don't like God's answer. First, yeah. Wait, keep going. First, I would 7 or 7. Like that kind of. We're gonna be.
Second, it's crap to say vayan. I said look up the thing. It's vayan.
Right. First, second, he answered. By asking him a serious question, basically saying, "Shut up, you idiot! You can answer not by asking answer," which is Lewis's point.
Shut up, you idiot!
You can argue that. I understand his argument he's making, which is Lewis's point.
So I quote tweeted this, and we had another thing. It always amazes me when Christians ask a rhetorical question, which they expect to be answered in the precise opposite of the truth. Right? He says, God never provided an explanation. It always amazes me when you get something very basic wrong like this. Dude, the Bible is right there. God shows up and explains. You just don't like his answer. He actually didn't explain it all. Please provide the explanation if you have one. He didn't provide an explanation. He answers with a series of questions showing Job isn't in a place to question him or even understand the answer, which is Lewis's point. And a Jewish God answering a Jewish question with a question. How uncharacteristic. I didn't say it was. I should probably make this video, and I probably should. I don't understand what you think you're doing. Job is someone we try to emulate, not someone we condescend to. He is the ancient man, and what he was doing was right. And this is what Tripp says. I am not even saying that Job is the bad guy. You just said he's an idiot, that he shouldn't be asking these questions, that he was wrong for asking, or that his question is unreasonable. Maybe Twitter isn't the right place. Maybe it isn't. I don't think we actually disagree, nor do I think Lewis disagrees with the author.
For Twitter conversations, this was pretty good. This was a pretty good Twitter conversation, I would say.
Yeah, I think he was precisely saying that Job, like, go back to the original quote. He's saying the modern man is doing something wrong by acting like Job.
Right.
Am I wrong?
It sounds like if you guys would get on a call, you guys would agree on most things on this.
I don't know about that. Tripp's kind of almost as headstrong as I am.
Got it. Kaviyachal.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry for all the distractions. Also, I don't have that much time today, so I shouldn't have done so many distractions. Let's keep going.
No.
Amari Shobin Levi.
Yeah.
Ein smicha b'chutz la'aretz. There's no ordination outside of Eretz Yisrael. Wow. My ein smicha. What does it mean? There's no ordination. Ilay medalog dane dine knasos klal b'chutz la'aretz. That you can't adjudicate cases of penalties outside of Israel. V'hatanan Sanhedrin noheges bein be'eretz or bein b'chutz la'aretz. We are able to have Sanhedrin both in the land of Israel and outside. Ella de lo samchina b'chutz la'aretz. So it must mean that we can't ordain outside of Israel. Pshita smuchin b'chutz la'aretz v'nisbichin ba'aretz.
I guess it's talking about Yoshua because Moshe Rabbeinu was Somach.
Somchim b'chutz la'aretz. It is obvious that what the law is, if those conforming organizations are outside the land of Israel, where are those being ordained are in the land of Israel? Hadarin the law, el somchim la'aretz mai.
Well, apparently it's saying that you can even be somach when you're not in the same place. You can give smicha to somebody you're not in the same place, but the person who receives smicha has to be in Eretz Yisrael. I'm relying on Rabbeinu Art School.
I'm also trying to. I'm just reading it. It is obvious what the law is if those conferring ordination are outside the land of Israel, whereas those being ordained are in the land of Israel. Oh. Hadamrin and the low. Okay. So, okay. So it's obvious, somchim b'chutz la'aretz v'nifsachim ba'aretz. So that if someone from in the land was ordaining someone outside the land, I think it's saying it's obvious that would be okay. But Hadamrin and the low,
In Chutz La'aretz, if they're both in Chutz La'aretz, they can't do it. That's what
right. So what's the situation when someone's being conferring ordination are in the land of Israel and those being ordained are outside? So what's the law in that case? So Tashma, der Yochanan, have mitzdarle der Rav Shemin bar Abba, the lo have gaved l'simchi. Rabbi Yochanan was distressed that Rav Shemin bar Abba was not with them to ordain them. Rav Shimon ben Zerah v'chad d'imei. He also wanted to ordain Rav Shimon ben Zerah and another rabbi or another hopeful rabbi. Uman Rav Yochanan ben Achmai. And who was that? It was Rav Yochanan ben Achmai. V'amrlei, and some say a different version. Rav Yochanan ben Amchai v'chad d'imei. Umanu Rav Shimon ben Zerah. Chad ha'avikabayus samchu. So the one that was with them got ordained, and the one oh. So one person was with Rav Yochanan and one was not, and the one who was with him got ordained, and the one who wasn't with him did not get ordained. So you see, you need to be present with the person.
This is just Chutz La'aretz?
One was with him in Eretz Yisrael, and one was with him in Chutz La'aretz. Was not with him in Chutz La'aretz. That's what it sounds like.
Tata Zisa.
What did you say?
I said Tata Zisa.
Okay. The Gemara is now going to go into another story. Rav Chanina v'Rav Hoshia have a kamishtakid. Rav Yochanan le mismechinu. Rabbi Yochanan was eager to ordain Rav Chanina and Rav Hoshia. Lo hava mesiyata lemilsa, but the matter could not be accomplished. Havikamet Star Tuva. So Rav Yochanan was really upset about this. Amri Le, Rav Chanina and Rav Hoshia said to Rav Yochanan, Lo Nitztar Amar, don't be distressed. Da'anan midbeis Eli kasin. We come from the house of Eli. The Amar of Shmuel bar Nachman Amar Yochanan Menayin she'ein smichsim lebeis Eli. How do we know that the people in the house of Eli will never be ordained? Shenemar lo yezakim beischach kol yamim. There shall not be an elder in your house for all days. Which is typically translated as like they won't get old, right? They'll die young.
Right, but Zakein is also.
So I think that's what the Gemara is going to say. My Zakin, Ilay Mazakin Mamish, Vaksiv, Kol Marbas Zechim Musa Anashim. It is written, the grown children of your house will die as young men. So we already know that they're not going to grow old. Ela Smicha rather is referring to being older, and it's referring to getting actually ordination. Interesting. So is that the end of the story? That's the end of the story. Fascinating. It's also interesting that the Gemara obviously calls them by the name Rabbi, right?
As being an actual halacha.
Say it again?
You can't darshan Shmuel like that to be an actual halacha.
Why not? They just did.
It's an asmachta. It's a thing. It's not a.
Doesn't sound like it. Rabbi Zera have mitamer lismichi. Rabbi Zera would hide to avoid being ordained. Amar Rav Eliezer la'olam have kabel v'kayim. One should always be in the dark, and if he stays there, he will live. Meaning, like a person should stay out of the spotlight. Kevan dishama la dar Eliezer. Once he heard the statement of Eliezer, Ein Adam Ola Legdula Elam Kain Mochel Klon Vasav. No one rises to greatness until Hashem forgives all his sins. Am Silei Anafshe. He wanted to get ordained. So Rav Zera had two conflicting statements. The first statement was stay out of the spotlight, so he'd never want to get ordained. But then when he heard that you get ordained, you're like you raise to greatness once God forgives all your sins, then he wanted to get ordained.
You hear that, Chazi?
That's a big one for Chazi.
That is a big one for Chazi.
Yeah. He's out of excuses at this point.
He is completely out of excuses.
Ki samchu Rav Zera sharu lehachi. When Rav Zera was ordained, the community sang the following: Lo kachal velo shirak velo pirchus vayalas chen. With neither eye makeup nor facial makeup nor hair dye, she radiates grace. Wow.
What is this from?
This is what they sang to Rav Zera when he became a rabbi.
Okay.
Which basically saying that he's beautiful.
Apparently this is a common saying.
I don't know.
When
the Rav Ami Ravasi were ordained, they asu sharu lehacha. They sang this: Kol min dain samchu lana. Anyone like these ordained for us. Lo simchunu lana lo misarmitin velo misarmisin. However, ordained for us neither sarmitin nor sarmisin, which refers to people who can't explain things well. Amrle lo machamisin velo mitirmisin. Huh. And then there's one more song. Ravo kiav asi misvisle b'Kaisar. When Ravo would come from his academy to the house of the Caesar, nafku machurnisa de Kaisar umarshernele. The matrons of the Caesar's household will go out and sing about him. Rabba da'ami, prince of his people, midabarna du'mase, leader of his nation, butzina de nahara. He is as radiant as a lit candle. Brich misayach l'shlam. May your arrival be blessed in peace. Wow.
I'm guessing the Ben Yehoyada has a lot to say about these things.
Yeah, let's look at it.
That is my guess.
Now maybe Chazi will be interested in knowing that we'll sing for him.
If he gets smicha, he's not going to have sins anymore.
No, we'll sing for him. That's the main thing.
Oh, we'll sing for him.
Yeah.
And I keep on trying to save Ben Yehoyada on there. There we go.
Yeah, it's hard to find.
I'm learning. I'm learning to actually use what you call it. There is. We already read that part. We haven't read this part, have we? Rabbi Chanina v'Rabbi Hoshaya have a koi mishtaked Rabbi Yochanan mis mechinhu
Right.
la hava mistaya milta. Makshen v'ha l'svarat harambam sagi bechad milta sheyeh musmach l'ayel kat כתבתי דגם להרמב"ם בוי שיהיו גם השניים סמוכים אלא דלא בעינן שיהיו מוסמכים לסמוך אחרת. So even the Rambam requires that there be more than one person who's giving the smicha, but the other people giving the smicha just needs to be musmach. They don't have to have permission to give smicha. Ela af al pi shehem musmachim rak ladun dinei knaso v'rak chad musmach lismoch acherem sage ואורדינרלי בסייעתא דשמיא, אף על גב דסגי בחד, עם כל זה לכתחילה היו נוהגים לעשות הסמיכה ברבים בקיבוץ חכמים כדי לפרסם הדבר, ורבי יוחנן היה רוצה לעשות הסמיכה שלהם בפומבי ולא הסתייע מילתא. Okay? לעולם הווה קבל וקיים, פירוש רש"י קבל אפל. רצונו לומר שפל ויש להקשות למה לא אמר בפירוש שפל, ונראה לי אמר קבל שיש בזה הלשון תרתי לשון קבלה ולשון שפלות. Right? It can both be reception and lowliness. לרמוז שהשפלות הוא מקבל אותה ברצונו, ולא שהוא מוכרח להיות שפל. בשביל איזה פנייה שיש לו בזה המכרחתו לכך. It's not that he has to be a lowly person, but he accepts it upon himself. או יובן בסייעתא דשמיא, על דרך מה שכתבתי בסייעתא דשמיא, במאמר התנא ויהיו עניים בני ביתך, כי הגוף נקרא bait. So it says in the Mishnah Avot that poor people should be part of your household, and he says a human body is also referred to as a house. כמו שנאמר ביום שיזו שומרי הבית. That's from Ecclesiastes. והאדם צריך לראות איברים שלו שהם בני ביתו, and a person needs to see his body parts, which are the parts of his household, ani'im, as poor ones. The late lahu megarmehu, that they don't have anything by themselves. Klum ela kol rega mekablan kol echad echad koach hashayach lo me'et Hashem yitbarach. But each one receives all that it needs from God, may his name be blessed. ובזה פרשתי בסייעתא דשמיא מאמר רבותינו ז"ל, יהא עניותא לישראל קורדא סומקא לסוסיה חברה. I have no idea what that means. the
I know what it means.
poverty to Israel should be like a white horse. What?
It means poverty is good for the Jewish people, like a red bridle for a white horse.
Red. Oh, kivrada sumka lesusaya.
I don't actually know what it means. I clicked on the link and it just told me. I don't actually know
Good,
that.
good job. The ain hakavana na'el lahem ha'niyut sheyu anim be'emet. That it's not saying that they should really be poor. That's a beautiful thing for them. Ela hakavana na'el lahem lihyot ro'in atzman deleit lahu megarmehu. That it is beautiful for them to understand that they lack anything from themselves. Klum. Kach yitzayeru v'chashvu b'da'atam tamid. Therefore, they should always keep in mind that everything they have is from God. Ubezeh pirashti atam she'Yisrael monim l'levana. And that's why the Jewish calendar is lunar, v'nimshalu l'levana, and Israel is analogized to the moon. V'hainu ki halavana hi guf chashuch ve'ein la'or mitzida klal. Just as the moon itself is a dark body and doesn't give off light itself, Eila hi mikabela tamid or min hashemesh, but rather it's reflecting light from the sun. V'kach na'el Yisrael lachshov al atzman. Similarly, Israel should see themselves kach shehem domim l'levana, that we are like the moon. Shegam hem mitzadam guf chashuch, that we are also dark bodies. V'lachen amar la'olam heve kabel, like it says, a person should always accept. Shehu targum shel afel, right? That it gets translated by Rashi as darkness. Retzono lomar guf chashuch kemo hayareach shehi guf chashuch umkabelet kol or shela min hashemesh v'leit la migarma klum. Pen hu afel mitzad atzmo ach koach hanimtza v'hanir'a bo, but the power that can be seen in it, shekablo min kol regam et Hashem yitbarach, that everything he has received from God, may he be blessed. Lezeh nakit kabel, and that's why it uses that language of acceptance for darkness here. Sheyesh b'lashon zeh shtei mashma'uyot, that has two meanings. Achad lashon kabbalah, one to receive, and the other afela, darkness. Retzonah lomar af al pi shero'eh atzmo sheyesh bo koach yachshov shehu mitzad atzmo afel. That a person, even when he sees that he does have power, he should understand that it's not something that comes from him because he himself is dark. Ach hu mekabel hakoach v'haor milamala, but it comes from above. Ubeni yedidi kavod harav Yaakov. So my beloved son Jacob, Pirash Nikra. I didn't know he had a son. Maybe he's talking about the students. Pirasha Chacham Nikra Tamid B'Shem Talmud Chacham. That a wise person is always referred to as a student, as a wise student. Lahorot Afa Pisha Lamad Torah Harbe, even when he has learned a lot of Torah. Lo Yishba Yisba Min Halimud, he will never be filled with his study. V'lo Yamar Kavarna Asiti Rav Ravi V'Chacham Gamor, that I've already become a rabbi and a great sage. Ela Kol Yamav Yishtadel Lilmod Ma'acherim, he should always try to learn from others. Yaseh Atzmo Besug Talmud, he should always be a student. V'zehu Shamar Havek Habel L'Kayim Tihye Besug HaMekablim, that she should always be a person who receives. shetzarich lekabel divrei Torah ma'acherim, that he should always learn Torah from other people. V'zeh yihyeh lemudcha kayam, and in that way he would be able to maintain his learning. Biyadcha she'im tachshov nishlemet, that if you thought it was complete, the chokhmah that is completely wise, ve'ein tzarich ata lekabel od, that you don't need to learn anything else. Nimtzet mitga'eh, you find that it becomes egotistical. Va'az ein limudcha kayam beyadecha ad kan devarav. And this was the quote of this student of the Ben Ish Chai named Yaakov.
I think it's saying his son.
It seems to be saying his son. Yeah. I didn't know he has a son. I mean, maybe he did. I mean, you would think if the Ben Ish Chai had living descendants, we would know about them.
Let's ask.
The Ben Ish Chai have living descendants. I am asking a Rabbi Grok to see, because if he does, I would have expected us to know it.
He does.
He does? Wow. And we're such putzes.
The direct descendants span the globe, with many residing in Israel, maintaining family trees, and actively participating in Torah communities that cherish his teachings.
His son, Rabbi Yaakov Chaim, succeeded him in leadership role in Baghdad and died in 1920.
There you go. All right. Well, we're up to the 2 dots, and no more Ben Yada for another few pages.
What in another few pages?
The Ben Yada does not tell you Zion, so we have 3 pages without him.
Wow. How are you want to skip these 2?
Oh, that was a good setup.
Okay. It was very nice talking to you people. Danielle Shalom apparently has to leave us. I think I will do a just chatting stream after this.
Perfect. Later. I'll listen in. Bye.